are amazing. Be true to yourself. Welcome everybody to another episode of the XoneBros. There's a subliminal message in that intro. If you guys can hear it, the winner, if you hear it, the winner gets my Xbox Series X.
You know, I know
send us a message.
I know we're gonna. I'm kind of shooting the gun here on this story, but that intro that we ran, where I have all the Madden, all the sports games and stuff, we're gonna have to add another sports game soon.
yeah, that's
to
right.
That intro,
we sure are. MLB The Show, baby. It's coming to Game Pass, and I could not be more excited. That's huge. It's skyrocketing. Huge, earth-shattering news, in my opinion.
Yeah. Anyways, do the podcast number, and don't screw up this time.
This podcast 355. Mr. McSpicy's here.
Oh, yeah, yo.
Jordan the Man is here.
Hello.
And I am here.
That's the intro. Now we can talk about it.
Aqua FPS says he's the Loot Lord. I am the Loot. What does he say? The Loot King?
He's the Loot Lord.
He's Loot Lord?
Yeah.
I'm the Loot Lord.
And what?
Hey, Aqua, if you're out there watching or listening, I'm the Loot Lord.
Aqua is the coolest guy. He really is. He's like one of my heroes. Yeah, I love that guy.
Game Pass. Let's just jump into it. MLB The Show is coming to Game Pass. Now, what makes this so big is that it is Sony Studios. Yeah. And it's a Sony Studio game coming to Game Pass. So you could take this and you can look too deep into it and just, we're going to do that. Sony Studios, I think, agreeing to come to Game Pass. I think Game Pass is, I've said it before, I'll say it again. People accuse me of being a fanboy. I'm a fanboy. I do think Game Pass is the future. I'm a fanboy of Game Pass. It is an amazing deal for us. And I just think, once again, the value here. Ready for this? When was the last time I purchased a game? Last Oasis. But that's it. I was going to purchase MLB The Show. That was like the next upcoming game. I don't need to. It's on Game Pass. Think about how much $60 is, too. What is that, 3 months, 4 months of Game Pass?
Yeah.
Right there. Game Pass Ultimate. So MLB The Show, Sony deciding to bring MLB The Show to Game Pass just increases its value once again. Sony's going to have to jump into this. Am I wrong? Into a streaming service?
Well, they kind of just did.
They just did. Yeah, I guess you're right.
So,
Jordan, give me your thoughts though on Sony bringing MLB The Show to Game Pass.
Well, it's good. It's good for us. I mean, from the one perspective, it's good on both sides. Sony gets their game out there to more people, and we get MLB The Show for Game Pass. Now, that being said, the story behind this, I don't think Sony would have done that if they I don't know the whole Game Pass deal, but the reason we're getting, it is important to say this, the reason we're getting MLB is because the baseball licensing said you need to make this game for everybody.
Oh, yeah, and that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense on MLB's side because...
Or else Sony would just be doing what's best for them and keeping it exclusive.
And they did a great job of keeping that exclusive for sure.
And
for sure.
Let's be honest, the reason I'm so excited is because the people they have developing that game, this was people may not think this, but this was a huge Sony exclusive that they had that I wanted to play every year. Yeah. And now we're finally getting it on Xbox, which is really cool.
Yeah, so Sony has PS Now. And a lot of people say Sony has PS Now, but PS Now, like Beast says in chat, is just old games. It does not have new games. There is no current PS5 games on PS Now. It is not day one video games. So let's look at something like MLB The Show. If you're a fan of baseball games, if you only own a console to own MLB The Show every year, which there's going to be people out there like that, and you have a PlayStation, you've got to pay $60. You have an Xbox. You get to play this game now not for free, but as part of Game Pass at $15 a month for Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah.
Plus access to every other single game there now. It's making it what Microsoft is doing. In my opinion, is making it hard to have third-party titles or to be playing third-party titles on their competitors' machines. Yeah. Because of Game Pass.
Well, it's interesting. Do you think, and this is just me speculating here, this is where we dive too deep into it, right? Do you think it was Sony's decision to do that, or do you think it was MLB because they have the license?
No. It's going to be Sony.
Do you think it's Sony's
going to be
decision?
Sony. Whoever publishes it, and Sony Studios
which is Sony.
Publishes.
Okay, I was just curious.
That's who ultimately owns it. Spicy, what are your thoughts? Any insights here on MLB The Show, a Sony Studio game coming to Game Pass?
Well, do you remember last week I was just who's left?
Yeah, who's left?
Sony. Who's left that Microsoft hasn't bought yet? I guess it's Sony. So No, it's a huge move. Like you said, I don't know what else I can add. It's just a extremely huge move to get any exclusive from them or, any other console. Like we just got Octopath Traveler, right? We got these other kind of exclusive games. Xbox is
on Game Pass.
They're not joking around.
Look at Square,
not just on their console, on Game Pass, right?
Yeah, look at Square Enix, Outriders. Again, another game that I was going to purchase.
Day one
Game Pass dropped today. Amazing. I mean, what I haven't bought a game outside of Game Pass. There is no reason to. I'm all in on the Game Pass service. I will gladly give you my $15 a month. You can raise it to $20 a month. I'd gladly give you that. But I'll gladly give you my $15 a month because of the value. I don't even browse. You know how, like, on the 360 days, like, I want to play a game. I don't know what game I want to play. And you browse the game store, and there's all these games. I don't even waste my time. I go to the Game Pass, and I browse that because there's and I'm always surprised, like, oh, what is this? Maybe I'll try this out.
Yeah.
It's an amazing deal. It's an amazing deal.
Yeah.
Speaking of, so that's MLB The Show coming to Game Pass. I think Game Pass is absolutely crushing it. I mean, in the console wars, just as far as like marketplace competition, Game Pass is starting to own that marketplace because there's nobody else there. And that's, I think, their strategy. Get in first, get everything we can, game over.
Yeah.
No, for sure. It's a massive move.
Yeah.
I mean, we say this every week when how often have they been doing stuff like this? Microsoft. They've been making plays for a long time, and it's just compiling on top of each other. It's compound interest of moves.
Yeah, you're starting to see that we're beginning to see the fruits of the labor that was put in there.
Well, what did you say a while ago after you read your book? The name of the game is the game.
Yeah, the name of and Sony has known that for a while.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Xbox fell away from that for a while and is now providing not only that, but providing it with services. I saw a very interesting article this week of someone who is a very hardcore Destiny player, plays primarily on PlayStation, and says, Xbox, I'm enjoying my Xbox more, and Xbox is winning me away from my PlayStation 5.
Interesting.
And he wrote like this whole piece on it. It's super interesting. This was a media member.
But
right?
Destiny.
We know.
So he's a big Destiny player. Destiny is on Game Pass.
On Game Pass, yeah. And it's really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I'm very excited as a Game Pass fan and as someone that is on Game Pass and as an Xbox podcast. We're the Game Pass Bros. This should be the new name of our.
That'll be our new name.
The Game Pass Bros.
Yeah, trademarked.
Trademark TM. Copyright circa 2021.
Restricted.
Speaking of other big time games on Game Pass, let's take a minute and talk about our next Game Club game of the month, which is this is for those of you that don't know, for those of you that are new, we play a month together as a community over in Discord. We've got a Game Club channel where you can converse about the game, talk about the game, team up, and experience the game together. Outriders is our Game Pass game of the month for April. Very exciting. It did just drop. This is the Square Enix game that has come out. We did ask the community over in YouTube, what is your first impressions of Outriders so far? 70% of people said they love it. 1% says they hate it. And 29% says it's okay. So that's pretty positive ratings for Outriders. I didn't get a chance to jump in yet. I jumped in on the demo. I'm very excited to dive full in on Outriders. I really, really like the demo. But Jordan, you got a chance to jump in.
Yeah.
Tell me, because we only experienced demo content, tell me, how is Outriders living up to your expectations? Does it exceed it? Not exceed it? Where are you at with Outriders so far?
Well, I mean, I'm having just as much fun as I had with it in the demo, which is good. It was a surprising game for me to play, and I'm really enjoying the full release. If you played the demo, your save progress from the demo carries over to the main game, so you just continue with whatever character you want to play with. I'm playing with the Trickster because I think it's it's a really fun class.
It is cool.
It's good. There's a lot more content in the main game. You have bounties, wanted posters. You got a bunch of different content in there. I'm not at end game yet, so we're not going to talk about that.
Sure. But
it's fun. I'm enjoying it. The maps are really good. I think we described it when we were playing the demo. The best way to think of this maps, because it's hard to compare this game to Destiny. Yes, it's a looter shooter, but that's kind of all it has in common with it as of right now. Because I like to think of the maps more of like a Doom style map where you can go through the whole map and then kind of come back and find some secrets or whatever and do whatever you want, and then you move on to the next map. It is kind of how the gameplay is laid out. It's fun. I like it. There is some changes they made from the demo. Change number 1 is they gave you a slider to smooth out the cutscenes. I did not even
camera shake?
Yeah, I did not even test it. I took it and I ramped it all the way up because that was the
100% smooth.
I didn't even test it. I'm not even gonna test it. I just went 100% smooth, and it does feel better in the cutscenes.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
The one thing that feels weird, and I think now that I've played it more and I've noticed more, is
Can we have it up as a? Sorry, I totally forgot.
Yeah,
just
we can
playing.
pull up some.
yeah. One thing that the one thing I it's not perfect, right? I do think there's some things they need to work on. One thing I think they need to work on is actually the cover system. It's not terrible and it's not bad, but it's not amazing.
It's not as snappy as it could be.
I didn't notice it so much in the demo, maybe because I was kind of in that honeymoon phase still, like new
Sure.
game, this is great.
Sure.
But playing more and more levels and more areas where there is cover, and I mean, given my character, the way my character is, I don't really use a cover a ton because I gain health the closer I get to you and the more kills I get.
Yeah.
So the cover, it doesn't feel 100% smooth. It's not terrible, but it doesn't feel like it's there. I think Division is better. I think Gears of War is better. These guys have worked on Gears of War, so I mean,
just from the demo, that was my experience. However, I'm not sure. Like Gears, you're supposed to be in cover all the time. I'm not sure with this you're supposed to be in cover.
I don't think you are either. But they still need to work on the cover. It's just I find myself trying to cover in some places that seem like they'd be coverable, but they're not. I find myself trying to get in places that 100% are cover, but your character won't go in. It takes 2 or 3 taps to go in. It gets a little janky, at least for me, when I try to vault over a wall. Sometimes it gets a little janky, and it doesn't. It feels like it's not responding to what I want to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Almost. It feels like I'm coming out of cover when I don't want to. I'm going into cover when I don't. It just.
Sure.
I know it sounds bad. It's not terrible. I think it just needs to be tightened up and worked on.
Okay.
The other thing is on the controller. So if you're playing on the keyboard, you probably don't have this issue. But on a controller, just like Gears of War, it's a third-person shooter, right? You can go from the hip with all your shotgun fire and all that stuff, or you can aim down sight, which is just kind of it goes closer into your shoulder and you're aiming. Aiming down sight is fine, and this is the same problem I had in the demo. When you're in the third person, not aiming and just like essentially just hip firing, when you turn your joystick, they have like an acceleration. So you'll turn your joystick and you'll start out at one speed and then you'll go to another speed. It's an acceleration. I believe it's for like quick turning and stuff like that, which is fine. But I wish they would at least maybe there is, maybe I didn't find it, but it's I couldn't find it and it's not there. I wish they would add an option to let me turn that off because it throws me off when I'm doing especially when I'm doing a shotgun and I'm trying to look at this guy and then I whip around, and because your brain is like, oh, I'm going this fast, and then it all of a sudden speeds up, you overshoot your target. It just feels weird.
Yeah.
So those two things I would like fixed.
Sure.
Or I'd like worked on at least.
Now, go ahead.
I was going to say the one awesome thing about this, and I'm still very early in it, so I'm excited to get further in, the crafting system. Really cool. So we didn't get any of this in the demo. So the crafting system, you basically unlock a scientist, and he says, hey, I can craft stuff for you. So you start crafting with him. And what he can do is, so you know how you have, one thing is you have rarities, right? So you have common, green, blue, all the rarities. You can go into the crafting section and take let's say we take your white one, which is usually your uncommon or common.
Yeah.
We can up it to the blue rarity, and once you get to, so you can use resources to upgrade it to blue rarity, and this is where it gets fun. Once you get it to at least, from what I've noticed, it's at least blue rarity, you get mod slots on those pieces of gear. And then within that crafting system, you can take your mod slots and put them in your gear, and then you can also upgrade the damage of your gear as well, like your base stats.
Oh,
but
so
what I like about it is if you really like a gun, you can say, hey, this gun, I know it's only a common, but if I upgrade it to blue, I can then unlock a mod slot for it, and then bring that, and then go to the mod section and bring that mod over. So you can really...
You can make any gun you want usable.
Yeah. I like how they do their mod systems. There's a good chunk of mods in this game for your weapons. How you get a mod is you have to find a weapon with that mod already equipped, and then you have to disassemble it, and then it unlocks it in your mod section of your quote-unquote workbench.
Yeah.
It's again, I'm still really early, but if you can do this with just like the base weapons, like going from common to uncommon to rare, and then unlocking the mod slots and then base damage and all that stuff. Imagine when you get to like the legendary stuff.
Yeah.
So this game is going to make it to where it's worth it for you to craft your own legendaries.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If this trend continues. Now, like I said, I'm still very early in the crafting. I've only upgraded things to the rare, which I believe is blue because I wanted mod slots.
Sure.
So that's where I'm at. I'm excited
Tell
to
me
get more.
gameplay loop so far.
So it's basically
You like it? You don't like it?
yeah. It's like I said, it's similar to like a Doom gameplay loop. Not the whole reloading and stuff like that, but
You're encouraged to attack.
yeah, you're encouraged to attack. At least with my character, I've played the other characters, but not as extensively.
Even
as I
the
played.
range character that I'm playing is it. You deal damage, it heals you.
Yeah.
So, well, that's this guy.
Well,
What we're watching is a range character.
I mean,
correct?
their tagline is "Kill to Heal." Right?
Yeah.
So, but I would compare it to Doom, and like you said, David, you're encouraged to attack. You go throughout the level. Think of it as an arena, right? And you just kill all the enemies, and then you move on to the next story. It sounds very basic in its design, where you just go from point A to point B and kill the enemies. But the combat is fun. The abilities are fun. I'm upgrading my character, and my cooldowns on my abilities are almost becoming non-existent.
Yeah.
So you're doing this repetition of combat where you're just fighting, cover, abilities. It's really cool.
Say this one more time too, because I think a lot of people, when this game was coming out, and maybe during the demo, a lot of people thought, "Oh, this is going to be Destiny." It's not Destiny. It's like you said, it's closer to a Diablo.
I wouldn't compare it to Destiny. The only thing it really has in common with Destiny is the fact that it's a looter shooter. It's not full on. I mean, Destiny's not full on open world, but it has large open spaces. This game, it's much more linear in the way you go through your level and the way you go through your story. And that's just what it does. It's neither good nor bad. That's just how they do it, and it works.
Yeah.
So that's why I would compare it more to Doom, because Doom, there was some open parts in its level, but it was linear in the way you had to progress through the level, and then you can go back and do everything else you missed. You progress through the level, and then you get to the end, and it's pretty obvious that you're at the end of the level because it says, "Do you want to travel to the next place?" And you either say yes or no, because you have a camp in each map as well, so you can go back to your camp. There's side quests there that you can go do that will then unlock other parts of the current map that you're on. So it is much more linear in its gameplay design, where it just kind of pushes you a certain way, and then it's also more linear in its storytelling, because as you go through the level, it tells you the story.
I think the story, and Spicy had mentioned this during the demo, is top notch.
Another thing, and this is just if the boss fights are as good as the boss fight I have this week, this game is gonna dominate.
Really,
dude? I fought this lava spider.
So
Tell
us about it, Jordan.
That then halfway through the fight went into phase 2 and turned into a lava spider worm.
Oh, baby.
No, the mechanics of the fight.
Legendary lava spider worm.
No, the mechanics. I can show you the fight because it's not. I can show you the fight. The mechanics of the fight were so good, and I hope they have more bosses like that. I felt like I was almost in a raid in,
well, and
in
that's
World
where
of Warcraft.
I mean that's the appeal, where we could jump in with 4 players, or is it 3
Three
players?
players only,
Three players, and go through boss fights like this.
Well, it's just you were fighting it. He was summoning ads that you had to take care of. He was throwing fire that you couldn't step on, so you had to move and be aware. Then when he went into the worm phase, he would do these walls that would circulate. Was that the right word? Rotate.
Yeah, that's rotate.
Rotate. Yeah,
and you would have to run around, and it was a really well done boss fight. It was really cool.
Wasn't just a HP sponge.
Yeah. And so that I got to see, so it's because I was watching some streamers. I got to see someone fight that boss, and from what I understand, I think he's pretty early on, but it was really well done. And I've seen the internet talk about that particular boss. Really cool. So I'm really excited. If the boss, like I said, if the boss fights are like that, then this game is going to
bring it on.
Then bring it on. Well, even the boss fight in the demo was really well done.
Yeah, I'm very excited to jump into this game and play it. What I love is just from the demo, the story. They mess with time. I always love time stories. Spicy had mentioned during the demo when we had a chance to play that. That's what really appealed to you too, was the story. I think this game does a lot of things right for me. It is our Game Club Game of the Month. It is on Game Pass, which is a fantastic deal. Another game that is on Game Pass, since we're on the Game Pass hype train, and Spicy was playing this a lot. Basically, every time I logged in this week, he was playing it. Octopath Traveler has come to Game Pass. Now, I played Octopath Traveler on the Nintendo Switch. I think I made it like 10 hours into that game, maybe just under 10 hours. It's a very well done game. This is a JRPG turn-based style game. Beautiful graphics. Also brought to us by Square Enix. What's it called? Outriders is a Square Enix game. This is also a Square Enix game. Now on the Xbox, not only on Xbox, but on Game Pass, which again, is Xbox buying Square Enix? I'm just gonna float that.
Right?
I'm just floating that out there. I mean, we're benefiting from this. It's super huge. But Spicy, what is it like to play Octopath Traveler on the Xbox on Game Pass? How are you liking it so far?
I love this game. There's a reason why I didn't play Outriders yet. It's because of this game right here, and Hearthstone came out with an expansion too. So, but this game is when I have had a very busy week, and usually I don't play games on busy weeks. I found time to play this game. I love this game so much. It is so much fun. I bought this on the Switch and installed it, and I never played it. It went to Game Pass. I installed it, started playing it, and it's hard to put this game down. So for those that have never heard of this game or don't know what it is, it's like a traditional Final Fantasy. It reminds me a lot of like Final Fantasy 3 with a very unique art style. It's got like that pixel art with a strong depth of field and a lot of uniqueness to its art style.
The depth of field is what really
gives it charm.
It
Yeah, a
gives
lot
it
of
this
charm,
like whoa bokeh effect.
Yeah, a lot of that all over the place. It's very good. It's turn-based strategy, or not strategy, but it's a turn-based fighting RPG. Yeah. And you can start with a multitude of characters. I chose the thief, and they all do different things, and it's really cool how you go around the map and you start gaining party members, learning their stories. That's one of the great things about this game that I've encountered so far is each person I play their story, and the story's a good 30 minutes to an hour to basically when you meet somebody that can be added to your party, you say, do you want to run the origin story essentially? And then you go into their side without your party and it catches you up to this point with that character.
Yeah.
The stories are good. They're very good. I'm very impressed. It's not like your typical stories. They do a really good job at making me like each character that joins my party.
Yeah. And each character feels distinct, I remember, from this game.
Very true. They also have abilities that it's kind of like Metroid, where in an RPG game like this, where their abilities unlock other things that you missed before in different towns. For example, I'm a thief and I can steal things, right? I got to where a warrior was, and a warrior, he can duel people. And I had no idea that this was a thing, but there are people standing in front of their doors that you can talk to. Well, once you duel them and beat them, they're knocked out. And then you can walk in their house and take a weapon or something like that. And you're not able to do that until you get that character.
Yeah.
Same with other characters. They all do different things. I won't spoil what their abilities are, so you guys can enjoy it if you haven't played this game yet. But you gain them, you get them into your party, then you can go back and replay a town that you've been to, which there is fast travel, so you can just go back and then clean up that town and then go back to where you were before. It's a very, very good game. I don't know how long it is because I didn't play it on the Switch, but I feel like, I'm 10 hours plus into this, and I am not very close to finishing it, so I think it's a good, long game. I really enjoy it. I think it's fantastic. There's a lot of strategy involved. I really like how it's the traditional way of these RPGs where if I don't have a person in my party, they're not leveling up. So it kind of forces you to just stay balanced, to remove your strong members, put in your weak members, just like the traditional Final Fantasy used to do.
Because you'll never know when you need those guys.
Yeah. Anyways, I think this is one of my favorite games. that I've played in Game Pass.
I mean, I remember it. I mean, I never finished it, but I remember I do own it on the Switch, and I remember it's a fantastic game.
Well, it's
it
a
is
great
now on
addition.
Game Pass.
Great
addition
addition to Game Pass.
Absolutely. For those of you that don't know, we do stream live Wednesdays, Monday and Wednesdays. Jort the Man has been streaming live. We do occasionally do Couchcasts where the three of us will stream together as well.
Oh, yeah.
For our YouTube members, it's a little special thing. And then on Fridays, we're live over on YouTube. So if you haven't come and joined us, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/X1Bros. Jordan streamed Cyberpunk this week because there was a new patch.
Yeah, patch 1.2.
And does this fix up? This is not the Xbox Series X update patch, but does this fix a lot of the issues that did you find that it fixed a lot of the issues that were had?
I found that
Cyberpunk?
it fixed a good amount of the issues.
Yeah.
But there's still a good amount left.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're looking for this patch to be your, is it time? So this is what I was telling people when we were playing it. They were asking, should 1.2 is out, should I jump in? And I said what I would do unless you're dying to play it, which I was on day one, and unfortunately, But anyway, unless you're dying to play it, I would still wait for the Xbox Series X update that we're going to get, because then you're playing it at a much higher fidelity.
Yeah.
And by that time, they'll have a lot more patches in as well, which will hopefully fix a lot of the remaining
And the Series
issues.
X update is coming fall?
Later this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so towards the end of the year. But it's a 40 gig patch. It's a huge patch. It actually shows that the game was not ready to launch because it was just let's say the guy who wrote up the Word document had to work overtime.
Yeah.
Like he had to crunch.
Crunch time.
Yeah, because it was a long patch notes. It was a long set of patch notes.
Well,
and
it seems like Cyberpunk.
It's a step in the right direction.
It seems like Cyberpunk soft launch.
Yeah,
December 20 or January, whenever it launched, 2020. Hard launch December 2021.
And after the patch, my same review still stands when we talked about it earlier. Our first impressions. It's there's a lot of good in this game. I think Mark put it best. There's a lot of good in this game, but for every good, there's one bad. Now with this patch, that does alleviate some of the bad, but still playing it.
They've got a long way to go.
Yeah, there's still a good amount to go. Still playing it. It's a really fun game, and the world and the setting I think are really great, but there's still a lot of stuff they need to work on, like 1, making the world feel more alive, 2, the visual bugs, 3, just your typical, bugs that happen. They need to add features that were obviously cut from the game. It just wasn't ready at launch. That's what we said back then. Mm-hmm. It's a good game. I told the people on stream this week, I like this game, but I want to love this game, and that's how I feel.
Yeah, that's well said.
Because the world is it's such a cool setting.
Yeah,
and the story is decent. Side characters are intriguing, but going back to the world is such a cool place. Night City, I think, is one of the main characters of the game. Unfortunately, Night City on the console, more so than the PC, doesn't feel alive, because on the PC you at least have a lot of crowd density if you have a high-end PC. On the console, we don't have much crowd density. I've only really ever ran into the 3 dynamic events. The guy that commits suicide, which I don't know if it was hilarious. Like you're walking down the street and this guy just jumps off a building. I mean, the subject's not cool, but the when it happened in game, it was hilarious. People, the AI in the city is not that great. They kind of tweaked the AI a little bit, but they're still just, if you shoot a gun, they just duck.
Yeah.
And they don't, whereas even if you take older Grand Theft Auto games, you're playing Vice City, you're in Miami, you're on the beach, you start shooting from the ocean, people run away. Just the more thing, or the biggest one is when you park your car in the street and they just stop.
It causes a traffic jam.
I think they said that they fixed that a little bit, but from my experience, they haven't. The guy just sits there.
It's been in chat says I've noticed more new graphical bugs after this update compared to the original release, but I still love it. And Brother Buddha says I'm excited to try it on PC after playing it on my Series.
Now I still don't want to say like I said if you're waiting, this isn't the patch that you were waiting for. This patch does fix a lot of issues, but it's still not quite there yet. I would wait till the end of the year. They did fix one bug that I'm actually disappointed in, because I think it was actually the best bug in the game. And it should have been lower on their priority list. So how like when you're in Red Dead Redemption and like you walk up to a guy and you just see him peeing on a rock, and you're like, oh, man, that guy's peeing on a rock, and you laugh and have fun, and then he zips up and walks away, right? So that happens in Night City. People pee on the side, but what happens is the bug was when they zipped up and walked away, the pee was still shooting out of their pants. So they'd be walking up the stairs and they'd be peeing while they're away. It was hilarious. It was actually the best bug in the game. They got rid of it. They fixed it this update, so that's unfortunate. Another thing that is worth mentioning is I say they hotfixed the police system. And this is another thing where features were cut. Their police system isn't very good. How it used to be is you'd shoot someone, a pedestrian or just whatever, you'd commit a crime, and then the police would just spawn. And 9 times out of 10, they'd spawn behind you, and they'd shoot you in the back, and you'd die. That's frustrating. Yeah. So what they did is they essentially hotfixed it. They didn't fix it, but they hotfixed it to basically, and that's the terminology I'm using, is the police officers still, or the NCPD still spawns, but they spawn further away now, so it gives the illusion of a response time, which is fine. That fixed the immediate issue of the NCPD system wasn't very good. But again, what they need to do, and I don't know why whether it was cut or whether they just didn't have time to do it, or I don't know, but what they need to do is, again, jumping back over to Rockstar, their police system is fantastic. Let's take Red Dead Redemption 2. You commit a crime, and this is why the world feels alive and it feels real, because you commit a crime, what's the first thing that happens? There's a witness, and that witness has to then go report the crime. And then, so if you kill that witness, no one knows, you know?
Yeah.
They need to add, and then once the witness reports the crime, and I believe they do it in Grand Theft Auto 2. I don't know if they have the witness system.
Yeah,
I can't remember, but
you gotta kill the person that's on the phone.
Yeah, you're like, oh, shoot,
call
get that
the
guy.
cops.
Get that guy.
Yeah, you gotta deal with them.
Which I like that, because it makes it feel that I committed a crime, someone witnessed it, and it even adds gameplay when you're going into a stealthy area. If you stealthily kill people, the cops aren't gonna know because no one witnessed it. Hopefully they add that later, but again, I mean, it's just this patch. It's a step in the right direction.
Okay, let's move to a game I really want to talk about. And can we pull it up? The Blackwood. They had their event where they talked about and showed off Blackwood for ESO.
Yeah, can I say one more thing real quick?
Yeah,
since we're going into fantasy?
Sure.
The Witcher 3, they did have a little, CD Projekt Red had a little powwow this week.
They're going to have a next gen.
Yeah, so we are getting the next gen update for Cyberpunk, but Witcher 3 is getting the next gen update as well.
That's
which
exciting.
Is going to be really cool.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
So Blackwood is, if you guys remember, for those of you that are, fans of ESO or don't know anything about ESO, we talked about this game or this update, about a month ago, I would say.
Yeah.
And Blackwood is bringing in partners, or what is the word?
Companions.
Companions.
They talked about it during their little thing
into
this
the game, but also they're updating it for the Series X. So we're going to get some high-res textures, because I do watch this game on PC. PC players play this game, and it looks so much better. It really does than the console version, even on the Series X right now. So I'm really excited to get some of the increasing. Tell us a little bit about what's coming.
Yeah, it's called the Console Enhanced Edition, and they're doing it the right way. It's free for everybody.
Boom!
Every time you do it free, it's the right way to be done.
It is always.
No, it's free for if you buy the game. So it's coming out on June 8th, which is the launch of the Blackwood chapter for console users. So it comes out. It goes live with that update. If you buy the game that day, you get the update. If you already have the game, you get the update. It's just an automatic update if you have those consoles or the higher end consoles. They're going to have a performance mode and a fidelity mode. In the performance mode, you are going to get 60 frames.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. They had a little trailer that you can look at. Now, I don't know what other stuff is going to be in the performance mode. Yeah, they had the trailer
where you load from scratch and stuff like that.
Yeah. They I don't know what else will be in performance mode. I'm going to lean towards performance mode, so hopefully the fidelity is still really good.
Yeah.
Because 60 frames is just
beautiful.
It feels better when you're playing games, which is great. But we are getting a lot of features. So we're getting increased draw distance, which is great.
Yep.
I love that draw distance. You can see the world from afar. Unlocked textures, which just basically means unlocked. It's basically updated high-res textures. So you'll get higher res textures, so your game will look better on bigger screens, but they'll also look good on smaller screens because you're still getting the same high-res textures. Anti-aliasing, updated anti-aliasing, which is always good. It means you won't see the jagged edges. Improved reflections, improved ambient occlusion and screen space global illumination, improved shadows, improved depth of field, and improved loading times. Now, this one's exciting. Do you know why? Because I'm playing on the Series X right now, just technically the backward compatible version.
Sure.
The loading times are great.
They really are
So
nice.
if they're going to bring me next gen stuff and still increase loading times, or even just keep them the same, the loading times are
Decrease
insane.
loading times.
Decrease loading times.
That's
Sorry,
a big
Yeah,
difference.
sorry, decrease loading times. Bring me the next gen graphics, 60 frames, and decrease the loading times even more, or even if they're just the same as what they are now.
Yeah.
It's way faster on the new consoles than it used to be.
This is like a casual long-term game that I'm playing. I have it loaded up. I jump in, 1 or 2 times a week, and I've been playing. But I'm really waiting. The companion thing, I think, is a game changer. This game, for like an MMO, because here's the thing. For PvP, like a lot of people really enjoy PvP on this. PvP and MMOs, you've got to sink so many hours to get the right builds, to min-max your character, to really enjoy PvP. I feel like maybe that's maybe that's a misconception of mine, but the companions I think will just add, for me, more like PvE enjoyment.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Without having to feel pressured that to really enjoy the game, I need to get into PvP. You know what I mean?
I would counter that just a little bit. Not really
Sure.
counter, but any PvP game that you want to be good at
That's
is
a
going
good point.
to require
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
a lot of time.
Yeah, you're right there. But with MMOs, especially because there's so many abilities and swords and counters.
Some of those
Yeah.
require that you play nothing else
Yeah.
at all, and I
Yeah.
get that. I get what you're saying.
No, but you're right. The companion system is really exciting. We're getting they talked about the 2 companions at launch, which we're going to get. They are going to react to your decisions, so they may be happy that you stole something. They may not be happy that you stole something. You will grow.
They better be happy because I love thieves.
Yeah.
My favorite
I think there's
playstyle.
one that's happy and one that's not. So that's why they
okay.
give you the 2. They talked about, I'm for lack of a better word, I'm going to call it kind of a renown. You have renown with your companion, just like in the other games. So as you adventure more with them, ask them more questions, they start to trust you more, and then they will themselves open up side quests to learn more about them.
That's cool.
Which is really cool, and I think it's a really good addition to the game. Now, they did say you can bring your companions everywhere, minus PvP, because probably balance issues. What I want to know is, can you bring, and they didn't say you couldn't, can you bring your companions into dungeons?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
sounds, yeah, which honestly surprised me. But I mean,
Well,
it's cool that you can.
I don't want to say yes for sure, but in what I was watching in the
Yeah,
video,
they didn't say you
They
couldn't.
were going into. It looked like they were going into dungeons.
Well, they were
with their
going into like the
companions.
delves. I mean, like
Oh,
the
okay.
matchmake,
Yeah.
the instance dungeons.
Oh, maybe
you know?
not then, yeah.
But but the thing is they never said you couldn't. The only thing they said you cannot bring it into solo arenas, which is like the 1v1.
Yeah, PvP.
Well, it's not. It's solo 1v1 PvE. It's like a.
Oh, okay.
It's a one-person raid.
Yeah.
So you can't bring it into that, which makes sense, and you can't bring it into PvP, which also makes sense because of balance issues. But I was surprised that they didn't say instance dungeons, because I was like, oh, so we're gonna have a group of 4 plus everybody's companion.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's
Now
I was
let
surprised.
me ask you this: are they ever going to bring cross account?
I hope they do.
Because
Right now,
I watch people play this on PC, and just the UI is so much.
oh well,
more
no, I agree.
superior.
I was never a huge fan. So the UI that they're using on consoles, the Skyrim's UI. I'm gonna be honest. Skyrim's a fantastic game. It's not known for its UI. I was not a fan
Yeah.
of its UI.
Yeah.
I get that it's easier to do. It's just it's not. I think you can have better UIs.
Yeah, the ESO.
To be honest,
PC UI is so much
to be honest,
better looking.
I think if they just did the PC UI and they just gave us the Destiny,
I think everyone
cursor?
should just do that.
That should
Just
be
that,
a
you know,
thing.
Yeah.
because the PC
I don't have
UI
a
is
problem
much
with
better.
that.
The PC UI is much better because it's a mouse and keyboard, but just let me left and right bumper along the top, which
Yeah.
on PC you just scroll and click, but let me left and right bumper along the top and just give me a little cursor to do what I need to
Boom,
do.
baby.
That's what Destiny does, and it works.
That it
Um,
does. Anyways, I'm very excited.
It's foolish not to have that in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every game should have that.
I wish.
I struggle.
That's how we would be able to play Hearthstone on a console. Go figure.
To answer your cross account thing, I did watch an interview from them a year ago. I don't want to say the excuse, but the reasoning behind not cross accounts, and this is I have trouble believing this. I think it's a PR. Look, I'm not a developer, but I'm just gonna say what I feel.
This comes from his feelings.
and I like ESO, but
Yeah.
I love crossplay too and cross progression. I think crossplay for MMOs should be a standard. It makes them better. It makes sense. It's an MMO. So their excuse, I don't want to say excuse. Their reasoning is the way their systems are set up. They can't just turn it on and off. They can't just say, hey, cross-play enabled, and they can't just say, hey, cross-progression enabled, because apparently it makes it sound like each server is or each mega server, which is a group of a ton of servers, like one is strictly Xbox, one is strictly PlayStation, one is strictly PC.
Yeah.
I get that, and they're saying like when we were developing, this wasn't a thought in mind, and I get that too, but I mean, I think it can be done. Like Destiny 2, even when Destiny 2 came out, they weren't thinking crossplay, but it was still done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
And I'm not.
Well, here's the thing. Now that Microsoft owns ZeniMax, you've got to believe that that's
Well,
done.
let's just say money's not an issue anymore.
Yeah.
So, well, and the thing is, and maybe it's getting closer with this update. We're also getting they're doing a lot on the back end. They're updating their servers. So maybe there was a hurdle that they had to overcome, and updating the servers will get rid of that hurdle.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it has something to do with platform holders. Now, whether that's Microsoft or Sony, I'm not going to lean one way or another, but
Figure it out.
I do think it, and this is just me again. I do think it's more Microsoft on this side, from what the dark corners of the internet are saying. You know, but with Microsoft making these moves with the free to play stuff, with Fortnite opening up all this crossplay stuff, I think I don't know. I'm going off of what I know with Final Fantasy XIV, and the reason Final Fantasy XIV isn't on Xbox, one of the big reasons is because Xbox does not allow crossplay between PlayStation and Xbox for that particular game. It seems like things are changing because obviously we do have crossplay with like Call of Duty and stuff like that. Now, I don't know if shooters have a different standard than MMOs, but again, I do tend to think it's more of a platform holder issue than a developer issue, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Regardless, I mean, it's super exciting. Beast in chat says, do we have a strong support in the community for ESO? We do have quite a few players in ESO.
There is a guild.
There was a guild. Is it still active? I don't
I'm
know
in
if
it.
it's still active. Jordan the Man's in it.
Every time I turn that game on, I have to remember how to play.
Yeah, you have to
it's
relearn.
true.
So, yeah.
It's true. I maybe we should make a channel in Discord if there's enough people playing it. Let me know. DM us this week if you play ESO. I do see on my friends list there's a lot of people that play ESO actually. So there you go. That brings us to the next segment of our show.
This one. This segment.
The segment where we take your questions. To submit a question, you can do so each and every single week over on YouTube, youtube.com/XoneBros. Hit the community tab, and members are able to submit questions. Cooper writes in and says, MLB The Show 21 is on Game Pass day one. Yes, it is. Very exciting news. So what other surprise announcements can you see happening for Game Pass soon? I don't, like Spicy said,
What else?
What is left?
They do this. They do it so much. Every single announcement, we're like, "Are you kidding me?"
And what's the next big?
I know.
Is there a next big third-party game that
Game Pass Land?
Game
It's
Pass
going to
Land.
be like an island, like Itchy and Scratchy, or Disneyland.
Yeah.
And it'll be. That's what it'll be. It'll just be all our favorite characters and with rides, and it's gonna be awesome.
I mean, I guess the big.
And you get free. Entrance is free if you have Game Pass.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Game Pass Land.
The
That's my guess.
I would like to see Xbox buffets across the
Buffets.
land. And if you're a Game Pass owner, you get free meals at the buffet.
Game Pass buffets.
It's
Game
like
Pass
the
buffets.
VIP flight miles that you get.
Yeah, it's like if you fly first class at like Virgin, they will pick you up, take you to your separate lobby. That's what I think they should do. Like restaurants, just brand the whole thing. Just
So-
make it a great deal. Undeniable. Even more undeniable.
So this I don't think will ever happen because of the nature of the game. But I'm going to say it again. I would like to see Final Fantasy XIV come to Game Pass.
I mean, if they buy Square
To be
Enix,
honest,
it could.
To be honest, not just Game Pass, but just the Xbox in general.
I mean, look, it's the two of the big games that we talked about this week: Outriders and
Look,
Octopath. Both Square Enix.
if there's anybody at Microsoft or Square Enix that are listening, I will give you my free time to help you bring this game.
Yeah,
to
he
the
will meet.
Xbox.
I will meet with whoever he needs.
I
to
will
meet
give
with.
you whatever PR
will-
statements you need. I will talk to people.
He'll bring pizza.
I'll bring
bring
pizza.
pizza.
Yeah, I'll bring it.
the man. He'll bring number 2 Taco Bell.
I will
with
help.
secret sauce.
I play this game on the PC. I really enjoy it on the PC. I would love to see this game come to Xbox and have all platforms be together. So I'm just saying, if anybody's listening, I will help.
This is. I mean, it's a really good question. It's getting harder and harder. The reason I had a joke answer is because it's getting harder and harder to dial it in.
You know what?
Nothing is out of their reach.
Yeah.
Do you know what would be I think game, or I don't know, defining game they got if they got it in Game Pass? The Call of Duty series.
I mean, that would be
Yeah.
huge. Call of Duty's a
what
huge
if they got
audience.
and I'm talking day one Game Pass every year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge.
I mean, isn't Warzone now free?
Yeah,
But
Warzone
you're talking
is, but
about the
I'm talking
campaign?
the Call of Duty, like
That'd be a good
like
one.
Call,
Yeah.
you know, because you would bring a lot of people over. to
what
Xbox.
else is in all reality? What else?
See, that's what,
What
I'm
else is
saying.
there? The rumor is
Nothing is off limits.
the rumor is the
they
Ubisoft.
just got an exclusive this
The
week.
rumor is the Ubisoft Pass. So I guess we have all the Ubisoft games. If they made their way over to Game Pass, that's basically it. That's all that's left.
Yeah, that's the only other subscription service out there. Then they'll have to go for PlayStation Now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great question, Cooper. Thank you very much for writing in. Super Shark writes in and says, "My bros, Planet Coaster is so great."
It really is.
And it gave me an idea. Oh, this is right off what Spicy was saying.
Hey, that's so awesome. Great minds think alike.
He says, Islands of Adventure is a theme park with 5 different themed islands. He says, if I gave you a fat billion to create your own Xbox park with each of you overseeing an area, what would you create? I know I'd have the Man-Eater Wave Pool. Love you guys. Where's
Man-Eater Wave
McSpicy's
Pool.
Where's McSpicy's cooking stream?
Yeah, my
Super
cooking
Shark.
stream. We talked about that.
It should be a thing. Okay,
Cooking
let's start
with Spicy.
Let's start with Spicy. You got an area of the park like Disneyland has their different themes. What area of the Xbox park will you oversee, Spicy?
Fusion Frenzy.
The Fusion Frenzy.
The Fusion Frenzy. And like, I'm talking like Japanese game show style Fusion Frenzy. Like, people are going to get hurt. You have to sign the waiver, and it's going to be wild.
It'll be a crowd pleaser too. You'll have to sit in the audience. There'll be a splash zone.
Yes. Like when they're gonna watch replays of it, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, that's a hospital bill." You know?
Jordan, how about you? What area of the park would you?
You know what I would do? This is more of a ride.
Okay, right.
So you know the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland?
Oh yeah.
I would do that with a warthog.
Oh, that
in
would
Halo.
be cool. Yeah.
And I would make the gunner an actual seat.
And you have to stand and gun.
Yeah, you have to stay. Yeah, you have to stand the whole time. Yeah, and the other two guys can sit up front.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
like that. I like
be
that a
fun.
lot.
David, how about you?
I don't know. See, I would like a whole section of the park.
You would have the DILF section.
the DILF section. Yeah, I don't know what that does.
I don't know.
I don't know what that does, but that's the section
It's
that
an
I
18
would
and
have.
older section.
No, really. What? Because if you're going themes, I would like the fantasy section. So like,
Wienerland.
no, any
That's a fantasy section. If
any
I've ever heard one.
fantasy game is in this section. So you've got ESO, Skyrim. It could be in that section.
Okay, cool.
Ooh, actually, no. I take
Witcher?
that back. I want the cyberpunk. I want the cyberpunk area of the world.
That is
Pretty much. That's as close as you
basically-
get to
that's
Wienerland.
that is
Wienerland
definitely
right there.
a 18 and older.
Yeah,
that's like a
definitely-
21 and
yeah.
older.
Yeah, no, but wouldn't that be cool? Section of the park.
Like
I think that'd be
Fantasyland?
cool. Yeah.
Basically
Fantasy-
what Disneyland.
Yeah, it's basically
Cyberpunk.
Disneyland, yeah.
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 Anyways, cool question, Super Shark. Thank you very much for writing in. Turtle Roll writes in and says, "Hey bros, do you have a preference between Windows Sonic or Dolby Atmos 3D audio for Xbox? I can't figure out which I like more, but Dolby seems to be less tin sounding. I could also just be losing my mind with sound that it does make you feel that way sometimes. Yes, I use the Dolby Atmos. I have it on. I have the Astro amp hooked up to
Yeah.
mine, which I love. It really improves the game, and it does take advantage of Dolby Atmos. So that's my preference. But I've never tried the Windows Sonic. I don't know. That one, I'm all in on Dolby Atmos, though. Really like it. Spicy, do you pay attention to... None of us are really audiophiles.
Yeah. Not on Xbox anyway. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to research that. That's a very specific question that I wish I knew.
And also, I think what makes it a little bit different for us, too, is we all play with open back headphones.
Yeah.
And so that changes, I think, a little bit of the dynamic. I 100% prefer open back headphones. It really does have more of an immersive feel in my mind, ironically, because you can still hear the sounds around you. But as a result, for instance, when you're in Red Dead Redemption, the birds, because it's open, the sound is coming in from your room, and then there's birds as if they're in the room with you. It's a really cool experience. I really like open back. But
Yeah, sometimes you think the window's open.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
yeah, Jordan, do you
To be honest, I'm in the same boat. I've never used Windows Sonic. I have used Dolby Atmos, and I do like it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't compare it because I've never used Windows Sonic.
Yeah, so we're
I
no
will
help.
this week though.
So we're no help. We apologize.
Yeah,
Turtle
I'm
roll.
sorry. I wish I had better
Turtle roll.
answers.
We have no answer for you. Apologize. KO Connects writes in and says, "Bros, how goes it? Thanks for continuing to be my favorite part of the week." You're very welcome, my friend. Thank you. I finally remembered to write my question down so I could get it in the mail sec. With Microsoft wanting to get to 1 billion gamers, would it be a good idea for them to get into the handheld market, especially with the big introduction into xCloud and trying that with Game Pass, trying to increase subscriptions? I think a handheld would definitely push those numbers and help with people who want to play mobile but don't want to use their phone as their controller and their screen. What are your thoughts? Keep up the great work.
You go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I think that would be really cool, but I don't think anyone has been able to do it successfully except for Nintendo.
They dominate the market.
I think
PlayStation tried.
Gave it a really good effort because those are really good devices.
And I had a PSP, and then did I have the? I think I did it. Yeah, I did. I had a P because I traded in my PSP and got like $1.50 for it, and paid the $500 for the PS Vita.
Which again,
Just kidding. It wasn't $500, but it was expensive.
Super solid device, great graphics, the best. Destroyed the Nintendo DS or 3DS at the time.
As far as like what it looked like.
Yeah.
But
you could not throw it against the wall and then hit it with a hammer and it still worked.
The thing
those DSs, man.
I think the thing with handheld is it's a different market. And I think it's a convenience market. I think it is. It probably does lean heavily towards children.
Well, and I do think with the launch of the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo kind of solidified their dominance in the handheld console space.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Switch is essentially a handy. Yeah, it's bigger and bulky, but you can take it on the subway.
And so I think if you're going to do anything there, it would be bringing Game Pass or xCloud to the Nintendo Switch, not making a device outside of that.
You also gotta. It's a fine line because gamers, we like our hardware, and you don't want to pull a Blizzard moment where you offend half your audience by bringing Diablo to a mobile device, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's a fine line. Microsoft can't offend the hardcore gamers. You know, they have to balance it. And I think xCloud is the in-between.
Well, I think xCloud is because what you're doing is you're essentially making every game mobile. But
still utilizing the hardware,
but
on
you're
the other
not.
side.
Yeah, what you're doing is and also if you want to play it portably, you can via your phone or tablet.
You're utilizing the mobile aspect without compromising.
I also think when you talk about scalability here with wanting to get it into the hands of 1 billion people, you will never be able to do that utilizing your own hardware. I think the way that you do that is utilizing what everybody already has, and that is a cell phone in their pocket.
Well, I do think xCloud is their version of the Nintendo DS, if you will. It's their mobile because, like you said, you can play Gears of War 4 or 5, whichever one we're on now.
Yeah,
at full fidelity, but on your phone.
Dude, Xbox should. This is why I will never be in charge of a giant corporation like that. If I was in charge of the Xbox division, just for fun, I would make, because if Xbox came out with a handheld,
what
it would
they
be
call
like
it?
The biggest, bulkiest thing ever.
It'd be a
and that's
tank.
exactly what I would do. I would make it would be like this.
It would be like the Game Gear.
Like I'm holding up my arms. It was like the motorcycles with the high rise handlebars and the people over that.
Yeah, choppers.
That's what I would do with a handheld.
It would be a gas engine handheld.
It would be
I was gonna say,
and I would call it the Duke, and it would be huge, but the screen would be beautiful. It would be, and I would sell 400 total.
Well,
that's it.
I was
Would
gonna,
just be for
I was
fun.
gonna say they would make you put your own batteries in it too.
Yes,
they would.
Why is that? I wonder.
I'd go D.
Why does
D
the big D
batteries.
batteries.
that's kind of a little off topic here. Why does Microsoft not include a rechargeable battery pack? I used to try and defend it like way back in the 360 days. Like, oh well, that's because PlayStation launched with like a 2-inch chargeable cord. Because I used to defend it like, oh, well, when my controller dies, I can just swap out the batteries. I don't have to go up to my PlayStation and use that 2-inch rechargeable cord that they give you. But to be honest, nowadays, I've completely flipped. I'll be honest. Like, that was the way to go.
Yeah, the batteries.
Like, why?
I don't know.
Why,
Did they say it was
yeah,
because of cost or
no.
something? I don't
But
know.
it can't be because of cost because it costs the same
Yeah.
as
Spicy.
the other consoles that have batteries. you know?
It's so you can buy more stuff from them.
Yeah.
That's. I think it just comes down to.
Does Microsoft own Duracell?
No. You can buy recharge. They exist. The Microsoft brand
the
exists.
rechargeable battery.
It just costs another $40 to get a battery.
Yeah.
So they do it.
It's why Nintendo doesn't include their Pro controller with their stuff.
Yeah.
Or a
But see,
headset.
when Nintendo does,
Or party chat.
I don't
Or
know. I don't know
You have
why.
to buy a dongle for a dongle to plug into your phone and make a phone call.
I don't know why, but when Nintendo does stuff like that, I get angry, but it's not like hatred. It's just like, they did it again. And then I buy their product. Like, I'm not,
Well,
it's not like a lasting anger. You
It's
know?
additive. It's because
I know,
they're
they don't-
smiling.
they don't care.
during those presentations.
It's because when they tell
See?
you, when they tell you the guy's laying on the couch saying, I play like this, you have to buy it extra.
And then they get the poor translator that's trying to translate the whole thing. That's one of the greatest moments of any presentation, where there's this poor translator that's like, I'm thinking he said this.
Well, I like,
he's like, he can't translate fast
well,
enough.
it was so funny because he paused and then he was like, it's coming out.
And usually in like Twitch streams and all that stuff, people are so negative. They're so terrible. And this is the one time where someone's doing a terrible job, but they're all pulling for him. She's like, I'm doing my best, guys.
Like, you can do it, man.
And then you're just looking at these Japanese developers and publishers, and they're just smiling with their new Switch.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, but I do wonder, like, now, like with the Xbox Series X, why batteries still? You know,
That's a good question.
No, it's because of money.
Yeah, and you're
makes
probably right.
sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Sense. KO Connects, great question. Thank you very much for writing in. A quick one from Captain Obvious. Godzilla vs. King Kong. Have we watched it yet?
Watching it tomorrow.
Watching
night.
it tomorrow, baby.
Yeah,
watching it tomorrow.
Very
Stay
excited.
tuned. Stay tuned, Captain Obvious. for that.
During the post or the pre-show, he was saying that it's like a fine wine. He's saving
you
it
gotta
for this
save it,
weekend.
yeah.
He is. That is.
I don't know if we'll be able to talk about it. Last time we talked about it, YouTube canceled us.
By the way, By the way, I went back this week because it popped up for whatever reason on my. Oh no. It's because I was looking at like what I'm struggling with. I want a long-term game. And
What
so
were you looking at?
ESO is my long-term game. Diablo. I was looking at Diablo, and
Yeah.
then
Oh, okay.
popped in was the Diablo 4 stage thing.
On YouTube.
And if you go watch, you should pull it up here. Just you don't even have to have words on. They really were caught. What is so transparent? They did not even consider that. They were just Blizzard, yeah. That nobody would. It's not that nobody would like it, but
that the American audience would not like it.
No, but people wanted it on PC. It's like it had never entered their. They were caught completely flat-footed. They had no correct answer. They didn't know how to properly address. I would have lied. I'll be honest. I would have said, "Hey, look. We know you want if we are going to eventually bring it to PC. We're working really hard. We want it to be perfect."
Rule
That's all I had to
number
say.
one:
lie.
When there's an angry mob of a crowd, always lie.
Don't-
let PR deal with it later.
Yeah,
That's a different department. Always lie.
Make a correction later in the footnote.
Well,
When in
it
doubt,
is funny.
lie.
When you see their faces, it's like the perfect example.
He
of
doesn't
being
know.
caught
I
with
feel
your
bad
pants
for the
down.
guy.
He goes, yeah, you do, because he's like all those angry gamers. You know,
He
you're just
doesn't.
like, he's-
But then the questions were so antagonistic.
Well, and
it was one question after. You know what you do? You shut it down there, and you say, "Hey guys, we actually have somewhere to be. We'll be back with more great news later."
Yeah, you just point donuts. There's donuts over there. See you later, everybody.
It's like at the Academy Awards, and you play the outro music, and you just walk off stage.
It was so hard because like I agreed with like the gamer side. Like, why are they doing this? You know, it's not. But the thing is, look, it's not a big deal that they brought it to mobile. That wasn't the big deal.
No.
The big deal is that they made it a lore in, like it was in the lore of the game. Like it took place between Diablo 2 and 3, and it told
It's
lot
a
of
canon
Yeah,
game.
it told a lot of new story.
Well, yeah.
And a lot of the features in that mobile game were a lot of the features that people wanted to bring to PC. So that's why one of the questions was, "Hey, will you bring this to PC?" Which I don't know why they couldn't have. They could have.
It was specific. Why are you going to be able to bring the features that we've been requesting, like you have in this game, to PC? It wasn't even the game itself. And they
said
had no idea.
no.
No.
And then the crowd-
Yeah, see, they should have just lied there and said, "Yes, eventually, but we have no further news on that right now."
Yes, later, because that's technically never a lie if you just say later.
Yeah.
'Cause that could.
Well, because you could always come back and say, "Well, we wanted to and worked hard. We just found it wasn't feasible."
Well, and the hard part was it was like, look, I feel bad for you as a developer, but just stop talking. Like, don't.
Well, no, but
the
that's
supercomputer don't. Don't.
Well,
just
but that's
stop.
what boggles my mind,
Yes,
and
we
I
have
feel
phones.
like where Blizzard, Blizzard would you say this is accurate? It's not the Blizzard of old, right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. They've lost a little bit of their sheen.
Little.
And right there, you saw it.
It's not even the same company.
You see it on stage in that moment. They were flabbergasted. They had never. In other words, what I'm saying, they were out of touch with their audience.
That was a tough year.
I think we saw it, like, you can see the moment where things
And
crumbled.
that's the thing. You see it.
I think that this happens with other developers too. I mean, look at Battlefront Battlefront 2, when EA did that whole play on pay to win and pay for the game and have all these problems.
And on top of that, and then Battlefield was the same way. Like, it was coming off the heels of their terrible
But they
PR
don't.
campaign.
They don't do it in a
Battlefield,
live
like, it was-
conference with
Correct.
questions.
That wasn't a
gamers.
live conference.
Yeah.
So, but that was the exact same thing. They had no idea that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
They had the people in the suits upstairs were like, "What? What are you talking about? Every game has pay to win." No, free games have pay to win, right? Yeah. It is. Anyways, I think in that aspect, we got to see the exact moment. There's a Simpsons episode that reminds me of it. It's when Lisa breaks one of her schoolmates. I can't remember. Oh, what's his name? It's Chief Wiggum's son. I can't remember. Anyways, she breaks his heart on the Krusty the Show, and Bart freezes it, and he's like, "You can see the exact moment when his heart gets broken."
And you're just-
and he's going frame by frame, the exact moment. You can do it in that.
No, you
Blizzard
can. You
show.
can. I rewatched it and I was fascinated, and I started to look at more videos of it because it was like, wow, it was
Well,
bad.
what
And it
was-
just crumbles.
Well, and the guys ask questions, and I feel bad for like the head stage guy. I don't know his name.
Ralph Wiggum, thank you. Oh my gosh, that hurt my brain.
I don't know who it is. He's the Asian guy.
Yeah. When he tried to stay excited.
and he tried to
then
stay positive.
It was like.
and there were a few questions that he's staring with a smile, like,
well,
and
that's
he
the thing.
doesn't know what to say.
He doesn't
and it's
know.
just this awkward silence.
Yeah. Poor guy, because you see the moment when he's like, "What do I do?" And then he starts getting defensive, and that's when you kill the show.
Well, but
That's
it wasn't him. It
that's
was,
when you say, "Hey,
it
we
was
bought
one of
pizza
the-
for everybody."
It was one of the other
Well,
guys.
he-
and they're
no,
like,
he-
do
he-
you guys
No,
not have cell phones?
No, so that's what he said. The other guys said it was like and they both, all three, it was.
Yeah,
it was
and they're
just
all like, yeah. And that was like,
Well, then you hear
Time to go.
someone yelled something, and you're like, "Ooh, that guy is not buying it on his phone."
What's so great is that's your hardcore fans that paid money to be at that event.
yeah, no, it's
And
true.
Well, and that's what I wonder.
and the room is packed. It's not like, oh, there's 15 people there. No, it's
well, and that's
packed.
as a development team. Did someone I want to know the behind the scenes? Was it strictly like, "Hey, the boss says we got to do it, we got to do it"?
No, I think,
or was it like, "Guys, we really got something gold here," and then someone was like,
well, I think what happens is
maybe we don't."
Well, no, I think that's it. I think people are excited for the projects that they're working on, and everybody is doing their best to work on their individual project.
And I understand that,
but I think you do get tunnel vision. I mean, everybody, it happens to everybody. Right?
No,
In
and
every
I
industry.
understand that, but there's a team of people. You gotta
play your own
I mean,
games.
though, you gotta think though. Like, look, the PC crowd, and the console crowd for that aspect is demanding, or not demanding, but saying, "Hey, we want this feature, we want this. Where's Diablo? All this stuff and all this feedback." And your thought is, "I got it. Let's make a mobile game."
No.
That's
Their thought is, a mobile game could fund our entire company for forever.
Like
mobile
WoW?
games, mobile games make so much money.
Well, even World of Warcraft has done stuff like this week where not this week, but basically we just learned that the patch is not coming out for a while, and it's just big.
You know what I would do
content
for
drop.
fun if I was in charge of like a big franchise like World of Warcraft? I'd come up with fake updates and fake patch notes. Like, I'd just drop an update and just say it did some stuff that just
you would get destroyed with
just
the
did.
internet. That's probably why you do not have a big company.
No, I
to
think it'd be
in charge of.
hilarious. It's like
even-
just a joke. No, but stuff that you could never determine, like whether or not it was true or not. You know what
but
I mean? Like,
even like your PR teams, like they're the ones that are like the bridge between the developers and the fans, right? The PR teams, right? They're like, "Okay, we're making a mobile game that everybody's really excited for, but over here they want none of that." So what do we like? How do you balance it? Like, okay, hey,
it's tough.
like the thing is, the best example that I think of, and I wasn't even there, but you guys told me about it, is Gears Pops. Everybody got really excited and went, "Oh!"
Yeah.
Well, it was
And then
like
they
the new
showed
Gears,
and then they showed the real Gears afterwards, and everybody was back. I think that's what you should have did with Diablo Immortal. Like, hey, here's our mobile game, but this is what's coming to the main game.
Yeah.
It's an administrative thing, I think, is the big.
You think it's
yeah, because PR just does what they're told. They're the ones that take that dumb idea and try to make it
Spin it,
and then woo. They're not the ones making the idea. They're the ones.
Well, and the
Let's
thing
make
is,
it so they like it.
I'm not even saying Diablo Immortals was a dumb idea. I'm like, you can do that. That's fine. I'm sure there's an audience for it, and mobile games do make a lot of money. But I mean, like it's that one question that gets me. These are the features we've been asking for. Will you bring them to PC? No.
Well, you got
that was the big one.
Yeah,
it was like, well,
anyways,
why not?
Anyways, go watch it. It's interesting. I went down a rabbit hole this week watching it.
Watching, it's pretty funny.
So you guys have played Torchlight 3 on this because I'm really looking like, well, it might just be Outriders is going to be my game for this. Like I want to loot, shoot, Diablo. Okay. I find it relaxing. You can throw on some music, mindless kill,
grind it up,
hordes of people, right, or hordes of monsters. Torchlight 3. Should I go that direction or Diablo direction? I know Diablo. I love Diablo, but I'm hearing some things. Path of Exile. Do I go that direction?
Path of Exile is fun. I'd go Path of Exile.
Path of Exile.
You think that's the top tier? That's the best one right now, then, huh?
I want you to just Google search an image of the Path of Exile skill tree.
I've seen the skill tree. Yeah,
yeah,
it's insane.
Well, and they're continuously updating new content all the time. I mean, that game is they're pumping.
They're pumping it.
It's a great game.
But you wouldn't recommend Torchlight?
No, I like Torchlight, but I mean, if you had to choose one and you're debating, I've played Torchlight 3.
I'd say Torchlight is more. I don't know how to put the arcadey version of Diablo.
I guess there's some cool.
And Path of Exile is more the hardcore version.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying Torchlight 3 is bad because it's not.
It's great.
It's fun. I play it, but if I had to choose one of those three, as it stands right now, because I've already put countless hours in Diablo 3, I'd probably go Path of Exile.
See, and again, I might just go out. Outriders might satisfy this itch anyways.
Now, if you do play Path of Exile, it's not going to feel as smooth as Diablo, but it's a really good game.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Let's get in one more question here. Let's go Happy Mayo. Happy Mayo wrote in and said, "Gentlemen, I'm currently going through some gaming blues." Oh man, we all know how that we've been there. We've been there, brother. He says, "By that I mean I'm finding myself start playing a game, and after 5 to 15 minutes, I'm over it. What do you guys suggest to get out of this funk? I've been watching the MCU in order with the wife. She has never watched them, trying to get my gaming groove back, but alas, I'm still in a funk. Only game I can play for a long time without being over it seems to be Warzone or the new Call of Duty Zombie. Help, because these gaps in gaming releases are the perfect time to hit the backlog."
But you're doing it good. Whenever I get into a gaming rut, I just watch anime.
Yeah. What
so the MCU in order is pretty good.
Spicy suggestions?
I mean, it depends on what's causing it. I feel like I'm a doctor here, and I'm gonna start, touching you, and then
telling you to cough.
Yeah. If it's stress, don't game. Do something. Or if the game's causing you stress, I tend to play the drums. I like to cook. I like to do anything to de-stress you. Just take a leave of absence from gaming, and then you'll get that itch again, and it'll put you right back in.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it. If it's other things, if you're just not finding a fun game, find a fun game.
Game Pass,
right? It looks like he's doing that. Look at review. Even go back to games that were 10 years ago that maybe you haven't played.
Yeah.
Like I still, on all my PCs, I keep Faster Than Light, FTL, one of my favorite games, on all my devices, and you can always go back to that game and enjoy it. For me, anyway.
Yeah.
Same with like Hotline Miami. I really enjoy that game. But maybe go back and play a game that you really liked in the past. Just replay the campaign.
Maybe even look at like a different genre. So I've been playing a lot of open world games like Assassin's Creed and Phoenix, and then now Cyberpunk with the new patch. And I felt like I was getting bored. Like I didn't know what to play. I mean, playing World of Warcraft, and that's open world. So this week I've been playing a lot of Outriders and Hearthstone. Outriders is very linear in its level design, and then Hearthstone's a card game. So it kind of just switching up the genre, because I was getting bored of open world. You know what I mean? I was just get's bored.
Didn't we used to call those palette cleansers?
Yeah.
Like City Skylines is a great.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Planet Coaster.
The reason I like a game like a City Skylines is because so a lot of games, whether we want to admit it or not, are work.
a lot of open world games are work. You've got to build up, you've got to work. I like games like a City Skyline where there's not a lot of thought into it, but there's a lot of creativity. It gets that creativity vibe going for me. The accomplishment of building something. I really like. Plus, you can do it while listening to music or podcasts, whatever you like to do. And it's the ultimate relaxation. The other one for me is car racing. Does that? Yeah. It's that same vibe. Just enjoy it while, but it's getting away from the games that require a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
And work. That's work. So it's less relaxation and more thinking, which is why you enjoy watching TV over it, because TV is not thinking at all. Your mind is completely relaxed.
And it's not to say those open world games are like bad or anything.
No, not at all.
I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed. But the thing is, I played so much Assassin's Creed when I jumped over to Phoenix Rising, I felt like it's a fun game. It's really cool, but I felt like I was doing the same thing over again. So I had to switch. That's why I started playing, Outriders. I was excited for the release of Outriders, and then why I hit Hearthstone pretty hard this week, because it's different.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a great question though, Happy Meal. That's something that everyone goes through. I've been through multiple times.
Civilization is a good palate cleanser too.
Civilization though has a little more work.
Well,
I don't know. I guess it does stress you out when you're like
when you're playing with your friends,
why are those
and then all your friends' armies start lining your country border.
Play Civilization.
And then you're like, oh, it is 1 a.m. David must be wanting to go to bed. So
here's what I want. I want them to figure out a way where I can play Civilization with you guys not having to be online, but we're in the same. That's my ideal.
Kind of
like where we can be. It's a strategy game that we can all go at our own pace.
Kind of like Wargroove, where you take turns over the course of.
Yeah, but.
He wants to be able to play as long as he can.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And I don't know how you would do it. It might just be impossible. But if you could figure that out, because for instance, what's hard for me is, you guys are power gamers, so I'll jump into a game with you guys and super fun. But by 1 week later, you guys are 80 hours in and I'm 10 hours in. You know what I mean? And so that like really kills. Well, okay, I'm over this game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But whereas if we could all go at our own pace but still be playing, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
You're describing an MMO. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
That is, but even on an MMO,
ESO, we could be 80 hours. I could be 150 hours in.
That's true.
And I can still jump in and play with you.
That's true. No, but I want a turn-based strategy game.
You want a turn-based game without us having a turn.
But yet participating.
That's what you want.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Okay. I believe that's called a single-player game.
That is a tough nut to crack.
Guys, that's you holding the controller and we're watching you play.
We should play some Civilization.
Yeah, Civ 6 is really good. Really well done.
Do we all have it on the Xbox? I have it on the Switch.
I have it on everything.
Yeah, I should have it on the Xbox.
Dude, let's do it.
Yeah, Civ 6 is good.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's go.
I challenge you, David, to play that game with me and to not attack me once the entire playthrough.
I literally cannot make that challenge. That's
I
what
know.
That's what
every single time
I enjoy the rush
of domination.
Backstab me.
Of just knowing that I can bend you over at any time.
You are not a trustworthy ally.
I am sometimes.
Are you?
Oh yeah, sometimes.
I don't think you have ever.
No. That one time that you're talking about, I literally was just tired.
That one time. This doesn't even include this game. I remember paintballing with you, and
but that was an accident.
With you smiling and laughing and continually shooting your paintballs at me while I'm rolling on the ground in pain. That's an accident. Unloading your entire clip.
When you're not on my team,
seemed accidental.
You gotta know.
That was an accident.
No, hey, you know.
And the lava's.
No. So seriously, I need a retreat. Like my life right now is nonstop work, unlike anything I've ever experienced. I want a retreat. This is what I want. I want a 3-day weekend. In a
Civilization.
No. In an internet-heavy
cafe,
Airbnb, wherever we're at, retreat somewhere.
Well, there's your problem there. Internet-heavy Airbnb.
Yeah, that's true. No. But listen to me. The three of us bring our PCs, and we play entire campaign of Civ 6 the entire time.
3 days. That's enough to hit the moon.
3
right?
days.
It's enough to get my religious priests out in all of your cities.
Food, Civ 6, no distractions.
What's your favorite victory condition in Civilization?
Military.
Yeah.
I think
for me that's the most exciting one.
It
I
is.
think it's the most exciting one. But if I had to pick one,
If espionage was legitimately doable, espionage would be because or even religion, because religion's
Religion's
a form
fun.
Of,
Religion's
a
just
form
different.
of espionage. But those are not realistic.
well, religion's hard because if you put all your time into religion and then your friend goes, "Why is there a priest in my city?" and then he like just looks
And
at you,
then,
and then all of a sudden like
it
the
hits all at
military.
once. It goes ring. The noise it makes. It goes ring. And then you can't kill them or they become martyrs.
Yeah.
Or-
well, then you just military the crap out of that guy, and yeah, I think space race is always a fun one.
That's the science.
Yeah,
tech.
science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we do like a Total War, but I like those games. I love those games.
The new Total War's coming out this year. Total War Warhammer 3.
Oh yeah,
Looks good.
Warhammer would be good because I would understand what troops are in that one.
I think in the new Warhammer game they fixed the dragon overpowerment.
Oh yeah.
Because remember the other that was fun, but it was like I had no.
It
Yeah,
was
just
fun
get a
for
bit.
you.
Fun whoever had a dragon.
Because the dragon just had this. It just scared everybody, and everybody just ran. And David, just get dragons, guys.
It's again one of those instances where you guys have millions of troops, but I have a dragon.
You have a single dragon, and you win because all our troops run away because it has that fear ability.
No, but don't you think that'd be fun? A Civ retreat.
Yeah. When's the next Civ game coming out?
I don't think there's going to be one this. Well, I don't think for years. They're making tons of money. They've got all the expansions.
Yeah.
It does so
Yeah,
well.
because Civ 5. I liked Beyond Earth. I know it wasn't super popular. Because Civ 5 had 4 expansions, and then Beyond Earth came out, and then Civ 6.
Beyond Earth was a mistake.
I enjoyed it.
No,
There's
no frame of reference.
Of all the civs, that was probably my least favorite.
Yeah, there's no frame
Yeah.
of reference because
Still-
you
still
don't
good
understand
game.
time. Whereas like a Stellaris, there's no time there. It is just there's no progression in the respect of like you come from the caveman to modern times and the future and beyond. You don't understand that on an alien world. Whereas a Stellaris, the tech is what it is. You're just trying to take over the galaxy with
Yeah.
Oh,
that
okay.
tech.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You don't need that frame of reference that you need with a civilization.
Yeah.
Dude, a Civ retreat.
I'm gonna play Civ this weekend. Civ 6.
Dude, we need a Civ
That's
retreat.
a good palate cleansing game.
I'm telling you, wouldn't that be fun? The three of us civving it up, turn-based. We eat during the other player's turn.
I'm going to get a contract. I'm going to write it down. David can't attack me. I'm going to have you sign it, and then I'll play.
I think they have that in the game.
The treaties. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
we'll do it
they have
again.
like in their turns. So
Yeah,
like for
but
20 turns, you cannot attack me. Yeah, I'll sign those.
Yeah, 20 turns is nothing.
Yeah, I'll sign those.
It's not even a decade.
Oh man. Okay, yeah, I'm down. That's fun.
What you do is you don't upgrade your troops to make them look like barbarians, and then just why are these barbarians?
Yeah, what
in
you
the
do
dragon?
is when you know the game really well. Jordan's right. When you know the game really well, you stick with a troop that you can pay to upgrade, and you tax the crap out of everybody. And
I don't care about my
and you
citizens.
don't upgrade those troops automatically, and then all at once you just go boom, and you've got nuclear arsenal right there for everybody. You know,
Dude, when nukes go off, yeah, that's awesome.
it's a good game.
Yeah, it really
it's a
is.
solid game.
Really well done game.
Well done out there. Well done. Oh, you know we could do Age of Empires as well. That's always fun.
I'm excited for 4.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that this month, April 15th? Tax day?
Tax day.
Yeah, that's actually probably why they're doing it.
Oh, I still got to do my taxes. Dang
I
it.
got mine back.
Dang it. Well, everybody, hey, thank you for listening to us jammer on. It's Jamboree style, jammering on. This has been another episode of the XoneBros, brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't yet, head over to YouTube, subscribe to us. If you listen to us on iTunes or Spotify, make sure you leave us a review. Subscribe to us. Share us with your friends. Listen to us day and night.
With
And
your
enjoy-
ear holes.
And enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Is it